Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant, and you are watching Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you to all the new subscribers that have joined this awesome tribe. You will find that this tribe is very supportive of each other, and if you read the comments, people are very empathetic. Some people are actually empaths, and they are really there, and they're encouraging, very encouraging people. Wish I had you guys around when I was going through what I was going through. And so in today's topic, I wanted to go back and revisit a topic that I talked about before, and I'm not sure if I actually made a video titled what I'm going to talk about, but I know I addressed it in some other videos. I don't know if it was one or two videos, but the question is does a narcissist know that they're a narcissist? So, of course, I'm not going to give you the short answer, because I got to use at least 15 minutes of the video to explain this to you. So let's look at the normal process of development for children. So most children, as you see, have narcissistic traits because that is a part of normal development for children. Children learn how to manipulate. Children, everything that they do, you look at them, you're like, are they narcissists? This is normally a normal process of development for children. This is the kind of stuff that they do. And then usually they grow out of it as they learn empathy, as they start to mature, as they're being corrected for their behavior. They normally grow out of it. According to the DSM and how mental health providers and those in the mental health medical profession diagnose, usually around 18, 19 years old is usually when that personality has registered and is what it is. So narcissist is personality disorder is normally diagnosed at the age of about 18, 19 years old because it is become a permanent personality trait. So it's a permanent dysfunctional personality trait. And so for those of you, your own children, and you can tell when there's something abnormal in their personality, when you notice that they enjoy watching people hurting animals, and getting pleasure out of hurting or killing animals, starting fires. There's certain abnormalities in behaviors, and in a young age, they may begin off with like conduct disorder. And so there are some things that lead up to you noticing that there's something not right. You can normally pick out like this child never seems to connect. Now, there's a difference between autism and autism where they have a problem with socialization, but you can notice that something is not right about your child. Now, some parents turn the blind eye, but some parents notice, and by the time they figure out that their child, at an older age is a narcissist, some of you adult parents notice now that your child has narcissistic personality disorder. You see better than the therapist sees, because a therapist is a person on the outside looking in. So the development of your child. But normally those are traits that children usually grow out of, but that is a normal process of development for children. Now, if you go into the adult, you have to look at in adulthood. You have to look at narcissistic personality disorder on a scale from low, mid to high, which most of you know by watching videos has been termed as the greater narcissist or a higher functioning, more well-aware narcissist. And so, if you guys have it already, please go to my mentor's Facebook page or Periscope. She talked about cycles. She talked about patterns. She talked about habits, and she talked about lifestyles. And so I want to implement this in the teaching today. And she talked about it within the ministry. I wanted to implement this in helping you understand about the narcissist. And so here you have, narcissism on a scale from lower end, which is normally you'll find overt, when they're discovering the power of their rage, when they're noticing that, these are the ones that a lot of times you find are very violent. Those are the ones that catch charges, domestic violence charges. They will, injure people. They will even kill people because they have no impulse control. They have no self-control. They act out of impulse and they react out of impulse and rage. And so these are the ones that, haven't developed the sense of, we'll talk about it in a minute. But those are the ones that you normally find they're overt, they're very obvious, they're very rageful. And as they begin to develop, so remember, you have these cycles. You'll notice these certain cycles in their behaviors. Certain times when they get frustrated, they act like this. Certain times when all of a sudden they seem pleased and fulfilled with these emotions. You'll see these certain cycles and these mood cycles and then all of a sudden you start seeing patterns of behavior. patterns of behaviors. And once you see these patterns of behaviors, you start noting certain habits they have. And as they start developing up this, this spectrum of narcissism, these patterns you start noticing, then you start noticing a lifestyle. There's a certain lifestyle that narcissists have. All of us who have had experience with a narcissist know that they have cycles. There are certain cycles you see. There are certain patterns you see. There are certain habits you see that have become a part of their lifestyle. And so most of us who have had different narcissists in our lives, though they're different people, different cultures, different language, we can all pick out very similar experiences of cycles, patterns, habits, lifestyles. They live a certain lifestyle. Then, of course, you have the overt, which is obvious, and the covert. You'll notice that not all of them, though. You notice a lot of times they will transition from more overt and slowly start being more covert. And the further up the scale, you notice that they're more covert, hidden in plain sight, well aware of what they have and who they are. Very manipulative. Like I said, hidden in plain sight. A lot of you watch videos, on YouTubes and interviews from those that are on the higher scale of narcissists, where they understand who they are, they understand how they function, and they understand how to manipulate. They've mastered manipulation. They're hidden where people feel good around them. They feel safe around them because they've mastered that art of illusion. They've mastered that. But they're very malignant, and a lot of them are very malignant and very dangerous by the time they're up on that greater scale. And people usually flock to them and feel comfortable because they have mastered these emotions. That's that cognitive, they've mastered the cognitive empathy. And so as they're moving up this scale, so let's talk about like within the mid-range. Mid-range narcissists, a lot of times if you talk to them and give them the symptomology, or you give them certain behaviors, you start giving them certain patterns that they have, lifestyles that they have, they will tell you exactly what they're like. I lie, I steal, I manipulate, I want to be seen, I'm always trying to be they'll make excuses. Now you're going to get truth, but you're going to get some justification, which is going to irritate you. But I did this because this is what happened to me, and there's always a justification. But they will identify, I steal, I lie, I cheat, I do this. I'm always trying to manipulate. I'm always trying to figure out how to get over on someone. I have a lot of men. I have a lot of women. I have a lot of both. I know I break hearts. I know I use people. So they'll tell you everything about how they are. But once you associate them and show them, that's called narcissistic personality disorder. Or for some people that don't articulate themselves like that, you're a narcissist. Once you label them, because there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of education about narcissism now, and it has a very negative connotation. Once you give them that label, you're going to get into an argument, a fight, and 9 times out of 10, they'll flip it on you because you may have some traits as well. So they'll pick out your traits that are very similar to theirs, or their traits on because a lot of times they confuse confidence with arrogance. Because remember, they're mirroring people. And so they can't mirror confidence because they're not really confident people at all. On the inside, they're very vulnerable. They're very fearful. They're afraid of being caught. They have a very low self-esteem. A person with a low self-esteem, think about it, those that are somatic narcissists. If you're truly confident in who you are and what you have, do you have to make sure everybody knows it? Do you have to make sure that everybody knows that you are a porn star in the bedroom? Do you have to let everybody know how much money you don't have? Do you have to let everybody know that your house is as big as 8 football fields? Do you have to know that your swimming pool is the size of the Atlantic Ocean? Do you have to let everybody know that you have so much money in the bank that it requires all the United States and international banks? Come on, if you're that confident, why do you have to prove to people what you have and who you are? Most people that are confident in who they are and what they have don't have to brag about it. But the narcissist goes to the extreme and to highlight and magnify something that may be normal into something that is super big. And they're usually very good. Remember, they're going from person to person to person, which is training their cognitive empathy, because they are learning and understanding how people have emotions, how people react, how people respond. When you're sad, you're supposed to cry. They don't feel the emotional empathy. They don't feel emotions like that. Now, they feel rage and jealousy and anything negative, but they watch people, so they understand the cognitive empathy. They have the cognitive empathy. I know how you react. I know what makes you react. I know what makes you tick. I know what makes you cry. I know what makes you happy. I know what makes you laugh. I know, I know what attracts you. I know how to love bomb you. And so people become their trainers. And so they begin to expand their knowledge on cognitive empathy. So by the time they go up this scale, not all of them go to the greater narcissists. Greater narcissists are rare, yet not rare, but they're rare. But not all of them climb up to that ladder to become a greater narcissist. Those that go from person to person to person to person, each person is training them. They're like an android that is getting information like data off of the enterprise, that he collected data, he collected information to create, but they're mostly mechanical. Their smiles are mechanical. It's like, you remember Wednesday off the Addams Family when she smiled? And everyone's like, oh my God, I'm scared. They're very mechanical, but they master it by watching people. How does he act? How does she act? How do they talk? How does a doctor talk? What is their lingo? What is their terminology? How does a lawyer talk? How does a doctor talk? How does a judge talk? So when they find a crowd that they want to be in, they begin to study, they begin to listen, they try to pick up emotions, they figure out. So it's that that cognitive empathy. And that's how they learn how to manipulate people, is by understanding cognitive empathy and being trained by each person that they get with. And they take a piece of that person to create, they're like Build-A-Bear, they're build an ark. And so each person's personality and things and traits about them, they put it together and they keep it to create who they are. And so does a narcissist understand who they are? The greater narcissist understands who they are, what they are, how they do what they do, and they're very dangerous. The overt narcissist, on the other end, doesn't understand who they are. They just like the feeling that they get when they exert the power and control over people through rage, through anger, the fear that they get from people. They love that feeling of empowerment. When they begin to move between the scales and begin to, normally within that mid-range, they begin to understand how to manipulate people, how to blend in with people. The mask still falls off, but they like that feeling. They begin to understand the symptoms that they have, and they understand what they're doing and how they're doing, but they really do not register who they are and what they are. And they can give you their symptoms, or you can give them how they are, and they register. They understand this is all the stuff that I do, but they refuse and they deny the diagnosis. And that's why it's hard to keep them in counseling, because anything you say, because of how negative narcissism is, because it makes them look in a negative light. And anything that makes them look in a negative light, whether their hairline is off, whether their eyelashes is on crooked, the lipstick is not on right, positive constructive criticism to them is a stab in their chest. Anything you say that does not exalt them and make them feel good about themselves, you have become the problem. Even when you have supervisors that do write-ups and everything, they'll either try to become perfect and try to get that job, or try to become perfect because they want control, or they become angry because everyone is jealous over me. Not hates me. Everyone is jealous over me. Or the vulnerable narcissist, of course, everybody hates me and it's so horrible, and I just try to do my best. And so hopefully that answered the question. Hopefully, it wasn't too long of a video, but it kind of went straight to the point. So hopefully that helps someone in understanding, do they understand who they are? There was no yes or no question. That wasn't really a yes or no. That was kind of an open-end question for me to kind of elaborate so that you can get your own understanding out of it. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to all the new subscribers. If you have not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. I do have 2 Facebook pages. One is my Psychological Health Consultants and Services, which is my professional Facebook page. And the other one is my book Facebook page, which is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the thumbs up on all of them, like, share, come and make sure you hit the bell on my YouTube channel so you get the alerts whenever I upload videos and when I come on live. Also, I have a podcast. I do a podcast. I got to catch up on it. I have been busy, so I haven't been able to catch up on my podcast. But if you go to Podbean, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, or iTunes, and put in Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Don't look for Dr. Carmen Bryant. Look for Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. And you can catch I started from ground zero to try to explain narcissism and narcissist abuse. So you guys make sure you go and subscribe. Podbean is actually the host that I'm under. So you're welcome to go to Podbean and just, sign up or like or subscribe to the channel so you know whenever I upload new podcasts on there. Also, if you have not already, let me get my book. I do have a book out. It's called, this is tiny. It's called, and you guys excuse the blur on here. Remember I told you guys my screen is cracked so I can see it's a little blurry. But this is Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. You can find it at Amazon. You can do Kindle. You can do ebook. It is a Christian book that provides Christian encouragement. However, the principles, those of you that are not believers, a lot of you said that you're not believers, and that's fine, because take the principles out of the book, because you will find your story in there. This is a book with different people's stories about how they were abused, how they were groomed as children, how the parents groomed them and made them vulnerable or susceptible for narcissistic relationships, how their children were abused, how they escaped, the thoughts they were having, homicidal or suicidal thoughts, business women, people that, and how they were thinking, to let you know that you are perfectly normal, and that some of you are embarrassed because of the positions that you hold, or how people in society may know you, the positions you may be a celebrity, you may be a radio personality, you may be someone within the city, within governmental agencies, even the positions that you hold. It becomes an embarrassing thing because most people usually think, how in the world did I get into something like this? Well, you didn't know. You were tricked into something like this. You were lied into something like this. They didn't come with a sign saying, this is what I am and this is what I'm going to do to you. So it's embarrassing. And so in this book, it even talks about those professional people that were, company, I don't know if they were executive officers. I have to go back and look at their company executive officers, or company CEOs and executive officers, and, people that worked in certain positions and held, certain prestigious positions within the community that were being abused by a narcissist, and so was their children, and they had to escape, and the feelings of how they felt, and how they were being re-traumatized by their parents. And so, so I do provide Christian encouragement. However, if you're not a Christian, a lot of you that were not said that you got the principles out of it and you could relate to these stories, and you felt better because you felt encouraged to know that you were not alone. Also, to those of you that are seeking counseling, as you know, I cannot provide counseling over state lines. I am licensed in the state of Washington, so in order to seek counseling with me, you have to be able to come to my office and either pay cash or have insurances that I am boarded with. Here in the state of Washington, you have to be able to come to my office. I do, however, provide coaching. And so coaching is not the same as counseling. I did do a video on that. Coaching is not the same as counseling. And because you're dealing with mental health and emotional or behavioral problems in counseling. But when you're doing coaching, you're dealing with goals, you're dealing with direction, we collaborate together as a team to come up with, goals, basically, so I'm going to coach you through goals. And so right now, as I said before, is the holiday seasons. My slots are filling up. So I opened up, another few slots for those of you that still have interest. I'm giving a discounted rate for right now for the holidays, the Christmas holidays and the January holidays. I may even provide grants to those that really need assistance later on. But let's see how the holidays go, because you guys have been really calling, and I really appreciate your interest. Let me know. I will send you information. I will send you the information on the pricing of the discounted rates and the links, and the paperwork that goes along with it. Also, for those of you that need counseling outside of the state of Washington, I am sponsored by BetterHelp.com. And if you go to that site, BetterHelp.com/Dr. Carmen. Use that code and you'll get a 10% discount. You can get a licensed counselor that specializes, you vet them and look for those that specialize in trauma, PTSD, domestic violence, psychological abuse. Don't go in there like, I'm looking for a narcissist specialist. No, we're not narcissist specialists. Those of us that we understand is domestic violence by an individual that may have narcissistic personality disorder, and how they function and what they do, and the results and the residuals of that type of abuse. That's domestic violence. And so you can look for that. I encourage all of you to do it. If you're having some financial difficulties, let them know. They do provide grants to those that need grants. At this particular time, I am not accepting clients right now through BetterHelp, but there are licensed counselors within your area. If you don't want to use the comfort of your home, you do FaceTime, you do telephone, you do online counseling, whatever is for you. You could do it in your house, you could do it in your car, you can do it at work, during your break. But, I really encourage a lot of you, go to the site, check it out. And if you want to get counseling, I encourage you, maybe get like 6 sessions, maybe get like 5 sessions, just to get a jump start, But once again, I thank you guys so much. And make sure you go to my mentor's YouTube channel. It is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper. Make sure you register, or subscribe to her. Make sure you hit the bell, share her videos, and she gives you the Christian perspective of narcissistic personality disorder or narcissist abuse. And so that is my mentor. That is who mentored me. That is my presiding prelate and my pastor under my church, the one that I work with. I do the clinical side, and she does the biblical and Christian, the spiritual side of narcissism and narcissist abuse. So please go to her her YouTube channel. It is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper, and make sure you subscribe to her channel. Once again, I always appreciate you guys, and stay tuned, because remember, we all are going to Leavenworth, Washington as a tribe on Saturday. Now, I may not be able to come on live, but I'm going to do all the clips and put them together so you can enjoy a Christmas with Dr. Carmen. Now, you probably won't see my kid. She doesn't want to be on camera. But with Dr. Carmen and the tribe of overcoming narcissist abuse, and we're going to go to Leavenworth, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. You're going to enjoy it vicariously through me. I'll take you to the restaurants, and we go on the sleigh rides with the horses, but I want to make sure that I keep you guys, I can't do it for everybody, and I understand it. Keep you guys entertained and keep you guys involved, to keep your mind off of the tragedy, that has happened in your life. So I come on and make sure you guys have something to look at, go review it. Also, I'm doing the 12 days of Christmas. And so I'm putting on there, you guys join me, the 12 days of Christmas, and what are you grateful for? And so that keeps you, kind of focused on the positive instead of keep focusing on the negative of leaving the relationship. Also, for those of you that want to, this is only if you want to and if you feel safe doing it. I know a lot of people don't want to share their pictures, and I get it. If you do not want to share your pictures, please, this does not apply to you. But what I would like to do is, if you guys email me at Dr. Carmen Bryant, DrCarmenBryant @outlook.com, and I want you guys to send me an ugly sweater picture, and I'm going to put a collage together, and I'm going to put you guys on YouTube, just like I do the 12 days of Christmas. It's probably going to be a lot. Hopefully it's a lot. And I'm going to put a collage together, and I'm going to show everybody our tribe. If you do not want to be seen, if it's not, if it's not a safety issue, if it is a court issue, if you're going through court, you don't want people to know that you're on my YouTube channel, no problem. Do not do it. I do not advise you to do it. But if you like to participate, you guys send me a picture of your ugly sweater. Even if you have to cut your head off. You don't have to put your head in the picture. If you want to be in the picture, you can be in the picture. If you want to cut your head off, just send me a picture, of your ugly sweater. And I'm going to put a collage together, and I'm going to show the ugly sweaters of the tribe. And so once again, I thank you guys for joining me. You guys know much love to each and every one of you. You guys go and be great.